Now, how old was this bike?
It was very old.
How old?
So I got it in my 20s, so I'm obviously a little
It's about
bit older.
20 years old?
Yes,
Let's say it's close to 2 decades.
Yeah, but it was a vintage style, so it had sentimental meaning, and I've not been able to do my exercise, so it's not just
Yes,
about
you've said
the bike.
that. You're not suing for that.
Well, but then it's affected my life.
Would it surprise you that a bike online, after I asked Michelle to do research, almost identical, that you can buy on one of the auction sites, do you know how much that would cost?
I haven't looked at that, no.
£40? Why should you be entitled to buy a brand new one as opposed to one which is 20 years old? £40.
I should be compensated for the time that I wasn't with a bike and it affected my curves.
Well, how much is that? I'm just wondering. Bearing in mind you can only sue for loss.
I don't know.
Well, what's the loss?
I lost my curves.
Talking, let me help you with the law, madam. You have to be able to demonstrate a loss. Some sort of financial consequence.
I've lost my toned curves. I have still got curves, but I need toned ones.
What's the loss? Some people would say that's a positive benefit.
What, not to have toned? You need them to be toned. If you're going to rock the curves, you need them to be toned.
Well, what's the financial loss? What's your loss? What have you lost?
I perhaps didn't get as much modelling or Diana Dawes appearances. I'm a vintage fuller figure model, so perhaps they wouldn't give me work.
Madam, if you're appearing as Diana Dawes, I suspect that that's a rather extraordinary benefit, to be slightly happily endowed.
But I'm sure Diana Dawes would have always had a bike available to ride.
I told you, she's crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Sharon, talking. Sharon, you brought a case against your half-sister. The start of this case, I thought it simply frivolous. It was over a bike, and I couldn't understand why you were so, I have to put it this way, aggressively pursuing the matter. But it seems to me that this is an important issue to you, because you have an emotional connection to this particular bike. Now, you rightly claim that when you lent it to Donna, she had 2 duties. Number 1, to protect it and look after it. Number 2, to return it to you. And she's right about that. And being reasonable, Donna, you could have cycled it over to her in a fairly short period of time, despite the difficulties, which I thoroughly accept that you were going to. The problem that you now have, Donna, is this, that as a result of your personal circumstances, you no longer have access to that property, and frankly, it would be difficult in the extreme for you to get it. Now, bearing in mind that you could have reasonably returned it, you are consequently, as a matter of law, liable for it. The difficulty I have is determining how much you're liable for. In law, Sharon, you are not entitled to win prizes. What you're entitled to do is to be put into a position you would have been in but for somebody, in this case, taking your bike and not returning it. Now, you've claimed talking £320 for the value talking of a new bike. The best research that we can find demonstrates to me that you could purchase one for £40. Now, I'm not entirely confident. That doesn't represent the only bike online. I want to give you an opportunity to get a replacement, like for like. So this court doesn't award you the full value of £320. But because you need a good model of 20 years old, you can have half of that value. That is cheap at the price of a relationship with your sister.
Of course.
Talking. You have shown during the course of these proceedings infinitely more interest in a 20-year-old bike than you have in the predicament that your sister has found herself in. Now, that's a matter for you, but you talked before to me at some length about values. Being a decent sister and worrying about that rather than your bike strikes me as an important value. This court, therefore, awards you £160. That's the award of this court.
Sharon was awarded £160 of her original claim. Let's find out how both parties felt about the judge's ruling.
And I don't think I'm crazy. You were calling me crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. I'm a passionate sister.
You were acting
passionate sister. The result, I don't think was, what it should be. At the end of the day, I shouldn't have to sit on someone else's saddle. I don't know who sat on that saddle. I think I should have, be able to enjoy a new bike.
Hopefully, things will change a little bit now, because it has been the bane of our lives for a little while.
For the sake of the crazy, I'm going to have to just move on from it and really clean that saddle.
The other one wasn't new either.
No, but it was my grandma's. That will never be replaced.
OK, well, you should have come and got it then.
You should have dropped it off.
You could have come and got it.
Dropped it off.
See, crazy.
I'm not crazy.
If you enjoyed that video, then I strongly suggest clicking here for more highlights. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, and why not, so that you never miss out, subscribe. Clicking down there, that's an order.